Alright. Alright, folks, let's move on to the barbarian of Tashas, Cauldron of Everything. No, I just need to add dual monitor so I have to open it up. Okay, now, from the looks of this, okay, yeah, you do get a few additional class features. You get new spells. Now, I'm not going to read out, I'm going to read up to 5th level magic. At first level, sorry, you get 2 new first level spells: Color Spray and Command. I thought Bards would have gotten Command by default. Like, what the hell? Second level spells, they get Aid, Enlarge, and Mirror Image. At 3rd level, they get Intellect Fortress, Mass Healing Word, and Slow. I thought Mass Healing Word would have been a given, but okay. 4th level magic, they get Phantasmal Killer. And 5th level magic, they get Rory's Telepathic Bond. Now, Intellect Fortress and Telepathic Bond, I believe, are in this book, maybe? Anyway, you get a new use of your Inspiration die, which allows you to... Okay, so it's an additional use. It's another way for players to use their bardic inspiration to amplify their spell. So, like, so normally when it can only be used on an attack roll, or I think it could be used on a spell attack roll. But like, there were spellcasters did not get as much use of it as I would imagine a normal a martial class would have gotten. This allows them to have an additional use. If they deal damage or heal, they get a really good ability. So you could use this to amp up your healers as well. That's really good. You also get Bardic Versatility. Whenever you would get an ASI, you would be able to basically replace one of your skills for another one of your bardic thing, and you could this also replaced the cantrip versatility. That this is one of the changes that I did not agree with when it came to Tasha's Cauldron of thing. See, me and my friends, we really enjoyed the spell versatility and the cantrip versatility that some classes got. It made them a lot more viable as opposed to Druid, Paladin, and Cleric, who could swap out their spells every single day. Now, they could swap out their entire list, whereas the Bard and such could only swap out one spell per long rest. This made it so that you can only do that with your cantrips when you get an ASI. So that is something that I know my friends, they still rule it as such that you can still use the UA version of it. I've been on the fence about it. I could see where they're going with it to not step on the toes of the Divine Casters. But like I said, Divine Casters, they can swap out their entire spell list. Whereas a wizard, well, the wizards can do the same thing. Whereas warlocks, sorcerers, bards, rangers, arcane tricksters, they can only do it one spell a day. So I might join my friends in still using the UA rule personally. Okay, and we have one of our. This is also when we're also getting to the point where we're another disappointing thing of Tash's Cauldron of Everything. This is not quite it yet, but we're getting to it. Now, as you can see, we have another artwork style. I don't know if this is this. It's somewhat similar design style of what we got for the Artificers, but it's not quite the same. I feel like. And it's definitely not the same as the Barbarian. But here we have a Dragonborn Bard of the College of Creation animating a statue to dance with a wedge. So, Bards believe the cosmos is a work of art, the creation of the first dragons and gods. That creative work included harmonies that continue to resound through existence today, a power known as the Song of Creation. The bards of the College of Creation draw on that primeval song through dance, music, and poetry, and their teachers shared this lesson. Before the sun and the moon, there was the song, and its music awoke the first dawn. Its melodies so delighted the stones and trees that some of them gained a voice of their own, and they now sing as well. Learn the song, students, and you too can teach the mountains to sing and dance. Dwarves and gnomes often encourage their bards to become students of the Song of Creation, and among Dragonborn the Song of Creation is revered, for legends portray Bahamut and Tiamat, the greatest of dragons, as two of the song's first singers. Which is funny because me and one of my players just recently, we looked into the Dragon Pantheon, what Dragonborn and Dragonkin worship. And there's actually a creator god behind Bahamut and Tiamat. Now, they are the rulers of their respective... They're the rulers. They're the pinnacle of what they respectively rule. Bahamut rules over the metallic dragons, and Tiamat rules over the chromatic. You know, they are the top echelons of those two categories. But then there's supposed to be there's supposed to be a dragon that rules over all. I can't remember his name. Let me see if I can bring him up right here. This is actually the dragon that I plan to write into my my Dragon Knight class. This is in my Dragon Knight class. This is the dragon that decides which mortal is worthy enough to bond with a dragon to become a Dragon Knight. So here we go. Here it is. Asgorat, the leader of the Draconic Pantheon. He or she was presumably not only a god but also a primordial, regarded as the creator of all dragonkind, and in some sources of the multiverse known as Io in the outer planes. So that's one of the different. Now apparently this is a known member. Now there are some that are apparently died, but there's some that are still alive, obviously. I don't know how a god dies. Well, actually, there's several fictions where gods die, but anyway, moving on. So, like, again, like, it's just interesting, like, looking up at older editions and other, like, you know, their works of fiction. So, they actually have several different abilities. Wow, okay. This first one, the Mote of Potential, is quite a mouthful. Whenever you give a creature a bardic inspiration die, you can utter a note from the Song of Creation to create a tiny mote of potential which orbits within 5 feet of that creature. These motes is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the bardic inspiration is lost. The mote looks like a musical note, a star, a flower, or another symbol of life that you choose. When the creature uses the bardic inspiration die, the mote provides an additional effect based on whether the die benefits an ability check, an attack roll, a saving throw, as detailed below. We'll read out one of them. We'll read out what I've seen the most often used for, which is ability checks. When the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add to their ability check, the creature can roll the bardic inspiration die again and choose which roll to use, as the mote pops and emits colourful, harmless sparks for a moment. So there you go, folks. Then we have Performance of Creation. So, as an action, you can channel your magic of the Song of Creation to create one non-magical item of your choice within an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on the surface or a liquid that can support it. The GP value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level, and the item must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly as a creature can faintly hear the music while touching it. The created items. Okay, so you can create an item that cannot be like so. Bare minimum price is 20 gold pieces, and then it goes up to 2 times 20. Wow, that's 40. So it goes up by 20 gold every time you level up, and it can also only be of a certain size. Now here's something that my friends really did enjoy. When you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend a spell slot or higher to use it again. You can only have one item created by this feature at a time. If you use this action on already an item, magic vanishes completely. So the size of the item you can create with this feature also increases when you reach certain levels. So that can be pretty useful because depending on your level, you can create pretty valuable objects. So let's see. I don't know how big a cart will be. I imagine carts are generally large or huge, so you won't be able to create them until a certain level. But there's plenty of stuff useful stuff that you can create. I can see so many different uses. Especially when you get to the size category, large and huge situations, you could theoretically maybe make even small bridges. Actually, no, the bridge will be probably too valuable at that point. I would have to open up my calculator to figure out those values. But no, that's pretty cool. Well, I actually like that. And then animating performance. This allows you to choose an object that is large size or smaller, and you can basically animate it. And it has a special stat block called the dancing item. It deals actual damage. Okay, it actually can deal damage, but it has okay, yeah. So it can be used for combat, but that's interesting. I'll read out its damage, and it's what determines its health, and you folks can decide whether or not it will be worth using. Wait, hold on. Okay, I can see why this will be useful in combat actually. Its health will be 10 plus 5 times your bard level. And you get this feature at level 6. So, quite powerful. I'm sorry, quite good amount of health. It has the Force Empowered Slam, which is, to hit it gets, let's see. If it hits, it doesn't say what's the modifier. Oh, you use your spell attack as the modifier to hit. And the target will take 1d10 plus proficiency bonus, so a maximum of a 6 of force damage. Which, again, there's very few creatures that are resistant to force damage, if any. And then here's the best bit. When any creature starts its turn within 10 feet of the item can increase or decrease, your choice, the walking speed of that creature by 10 feet until the end of the turn, provided that the item isn't incapacitated. So you could have this creature dance around, blocking people's way as it slows them down. So I can see different situations where that could be useful. Like it could be useful during a chase scene. You can have your bard, start playing his music as they're running, and have animate I don't know, a statue or a car to get in the way of if a car is a size category large, or pretty much anything to block the paths of their pursuers, or use it in combat to slow down a potential rogue type, because there are some enemies that can mimic a rogue's ability to attack and move around quite a lot. So you could use this to limit their movement a little. Now we have the creative crescendo, which is what you get at level 14. When you use your performance of creation feature, you can create more than one item at once. The number of items is equal to your charisma modifier. So that is pretty great. Now there is a caveat. One of these items must be size category small or tiny. One of these items must be that. And you are no longer limited by the gold piece value when creating an item with performance of creation. So there you go, folks. That means at level 14, with a size category huge or large, you can essentially potentially make a bridge, a small bridge or whatever. Now it does say object, folks, so keep that in mind. It does not say an illusionary creature or anything, so keep that in mind. It has to be an object. No, it could be a statue of a creature. That's fine. Loophole. Okay. Next, we get to one of the big. Now, again, we have a different artist style. This is where it gets a little disappointing, folks. The reprints. Now, actually, we actually already had that a little bit with the Artificer, because the Artificer was reprinted from Eberron. Like, so did it. Was it subclasses? When they boasted, because like Wizards of the Coast were boasting at the number of subclasses that this book was going to feature, but then a good number of them are simple, reprints. Now, mind you, like I can understand why the reprints is to make it so that you don't need to have so many different books for different stuff, and it limits what your players may need. Like if your player does want to play an Artificer, they don't need to go out and buy Eberron. They can just buy this book. I get it. It's just frustrating when things boast about something and then like it's not new. You're just reprinting it for players to have a bit more of a convenience. This will also convenience Adventurers League players as well, obviously. Now, adherents to the College of Eloquence master the art of oratory. These bards wield a blend of logic and theatrical wordplay, winning over skeptics and detractors with logical arguments and plucking at heartstrings to appeal to the emotions of the audience. So this is basically sort of like more of an actor type role, and as you can see, we have a drow who very much supports Lolt, as you can see by the web motif of their tunic, as well as the spider symbol. And I do like the dagger that they have strapped to their forearm. Now, this class is a reprint from Mystic Odysseys of Theros. Let's see here. At level 3, these type of bards get essentially reliable talent whenever they make a persuasion or deception check at level 3. Yes, folks. They treat all rolls. Now, I understand that there's some people out there who may still believe in the untrue superstition that a nat 1 on ability checks or saving throws are auto failures. That is not the case. But I will say, even if you do homebrew rule it this way, this does counteract that, because you treat whatever roll of 9 or less on the die as the 10, not the result. You don't treat the total result as a 10. You treat the die roll as a 10 if it rolled a 9 or less. So therefore, if they roll natural 1 on the d20, that's not a 1, that's a 10. So yeah, they just flat out get reliable talent. But it's not as good as the rogues one. Obviously, the rogues get a much later level, but theirs applies to anything that they're proficient with. Whereas these guys, it's whenever they make a persuasion or deception check, regardless if they're proficient with it or not. Let's see. As a bonus action, they get different use of their bardic inspiration. They can use it to impede the opponent's effectiveness when making attack rolls. So that's pretty good. Like it allows them to, like, if an enemy's about to attack, they can be like, they can use their bardic inspiration to make it much harder for them to hit the enemy. Sorry, to hit your allies. And then there's unfailing inspiration. When a creature adds one of your bardic inspiration dice to an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. That's pretty cool. I will just fill out because there's no way to flavor this. Essentially, whenever you give a bardic inspiration die to another creature, that bardic inspiration, if they were to fail that saving throw or whatever, if they tried to use it and failed, now they have to have tried to use it. If they try to use it and their results did not succeed, they get to keep the bardic inspiration die. It is not consumed. So it only gets consumed when they succeed. Okay. The next one is Universal Speech at level 6. You get the ability to talk talk and pretty much be understood by any creature for 1 hour. So yeah, there you go. You can just speak to anyone. You use the song of creation. You tap into it, and your words are automatically translated to people for a limited amount of time. When you successfully inspire someone, the power of your eloquence can now spread to someone else. When a creature within 60 feet of you adds one of your bardic inspiration die to its ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, the roll succeeds, and you can use your reaction to encourage a different creature other than yourself that can hear you within 60 feet of you, giving the bardic inspiration die without expending any bardic inspiration uses. And you can use this reaction a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So there you go, folks. That is the Bards and the Barbarian. Oh god, my shoulders still hurt from the exercise. Oh, oh god, I am definitely not a real life barbarian. Oh, but yes, folks. So even though it's a reprint, I have to admit, I'm glad to look at it again. And I'm glad it's more available to everyone else now, because most people probably won't pick up the Tyros book because they have no interest in Magic the Gathering or running a campaign in that setting. I get it. So it's nice. I suppose it is nice to have these type of reprints. But like again, it was just disappointing to me, as someone who bought the previous book and then got this book. So yeah, I gotta say though, like the Bard colleges are amazing. Like I would probably still go for the College of Whispers myself, but I will not. Like I would be tempted to go with College of Eloquence, or actually no, maybe the Creation. I'm not sure which I would go with. See, I like both of them, but I don't have really interesting and cool features. In our case, this is the end of today's video, folks. As I said, I'm not going to be. I could do more, but I'm not going to cover more. I'm going to try and spread them out. Next week, we'll be covering the Cleric and the Druid. Now, both of which have 3 new subclasses. Now, I will admit, several of them are. 2 of them. Both the Druid and the Cleric do have reprints, just as a fair one. So some of them are reprints from different campaign settings, so be warned on that. And then the following week will be Fire Monk, Paladin Ranger, Rogue and Sorcerer, and then we'll be ending with a Warlock and a Wizard. So I'm looking forward to covering the Wizard and Warlock, but as I said, we had to get through the rest first. This is Wilf Ninja signing out. May the force be with you. And remember, roll for initiative.